If you represent a sovereign entity, say a Ministry of Energy or a National Highway Authority, and you call a demand guarantee on a major infrastructure project, you probably assume your sovereign status makes you untouchable, right? Like, sovereign immunity is the absolute bedrock of international law. But welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to urgently brief you on why that assumption is, well, dangerously outdated whenever Chinese banks are involved.
Let's quickly look at our agenda for today. We're covering 6 key areas: the sovereign immunity illusion, the anatomy of indirect guarantees, the 2024 FSIL game changer, the hybrid test exception, the 48-hour injunction trap, and finally, the new settlement reality.
So, Section 1, the sovereign immunity illusion. Are your demand guarantees truly bulletproof?
For decades, the standard playbook in international infrastructure was really simple. It was a pay-first, argue-later mechanism. If a contractor tried to run to their home courts to stop a payment, you just raise your absolute sovereign immunity, the court would decline jurisdiction, and your cash was secured. Simple, right? But today, that bulletproof shield, it's been completely shattered.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of Indirect Guarantees, tracing the financial chain.
To understand exactly where your legal vulnerability lies right now, we have to visualize the specific architecture of these cross-border transactions. Imagine you hire a Chinese EPC contractor for a massive multi-billion-dollar project. Due to local regulations, a local foreign bank issues the primary demand guarantee directly to you. To back them up, a Chinese domestic bank issues a counter-guarantee. It's a 3-tiered structure, and it meticulously pierces straight through international borders, effectively linking your foreign public works project directly to a domestic bank account in China.
So, the million-dollar question: what actually happens when a dispute erupts over, say, construction delays and you trigger this chain? Well, the local bank prepares to pay you and instantly demands reimbursement from China. That financial liability travels at lightning speed. It completely ignores the messy, on-the-ground reality of the actual construction site.
This brings us to Section 3, the 2024 FSIL game changer, the end of absolute immunity.
Because January 1st, 2024, that's the exact day the rules of engagement fundamentally shifted for international owners. China officially abandoned absolute immunity. By adopting the new Foreign State Immunity Law, or FSIL, they've aligned with the restrictive immunity framework. And the game-changing reality here: foreign states can now, under very specific circumstances, be hauled into Chinese courts without their explicit consent. Yeah, you heard that right. Let's dive into Section 4, the hybrid test exception, redefining sovereign versus commercial.
Because this is exactly the loophole contractors are utilizing right now to freeze your demand guarantees. The mechanism driving this whole disruption is the commercial activity exception. Think of it as a hidden jurisdictional trapdoor. Under Article 7 of the FSIL, if your actions are deemed commercial, your sovereign shield just evaporates. But you might be wondering, how does a court decide if building a national power grid is a sovereign duty or a commercial enterprise?
It's fascinating, because unlike the U.S. framework, which focuses purely on the nature of an act, Chinese courts apply a hybrid test. They look at both the nature and the purpose. So, even if your purpose is purely sovereign, like upgrading public infrastructure, the nature of a bank guarantee is inherently a private, contractual financial instrument. Because of that, Chinese courts classify it as an unprotected commercial activity.
Furthermore, the court is going to claim spatial jurisdiction. Remember that 3-tiered guarantee structure we just talked about? Well, calling the guarantee abroad forces funds to instantly leave a domestic bank in China. That creates a direct effect within Chinese territory, locking in the court's jurisdiction over the whole matter.
Which leads us to Section 5, the 48-hour injunction trap, the procedural vacuum.
Because establishing jurisdiction is just step 1. What happens next is where the trap actually springs on your cash flow. Just look at the stark contrast in these timelines. While you get 3 months to mount a diplomatic defense, the Chinese court can issue an emergency stop payment injunction on the domestic bank in just 48 hours. 48 hours! By the time your legal team gets the diplomatic paperwork together months later, the money is already completely gridlocked.
Now, this is a brilliant, if highly frustrating, legal maneuver. To pull this off, the contractor has to show a high probability of fraud, not just a simple breach of contract. They need proof of irreparable harm, and they must provide a sufficient counter-guarantee to the court. But here's the kicker. The contractor isn't seizing foreign state property, which would violate your execution immunity. Instead, the court issues a behavioral order to its own domestic bank, basically saying, do not pay. It targets domestic bank behavior, completely bypassing your sovereign protections, while achieving the exact same result, freezing your fund.
Let's wrap up with Section 6, the new settlement reality, sovereign leverage and the endgame. Because taking a foreign state to a full trial over guarantee fraud, that's messy. So what is this maneuver actually designed to achieve? In a word, leverage. Being officially accused of guarantee fraud in an international court is a massive reputational nightmare. We're talking threats of cross defaults, jeopardized World Bank or Asian Development Bank funding, and a real risk of tanking your sovereign credit rating. The contractor knows this. The injunction isn't about winning a trial at all. It's an economic vice grip designed specifically to force you to the negotiating table.
This immense pressure is designed to force a synchronized unwinding of the whole deal. Step 1, the base contract claims are dropped, a mutual release. Step 2, the primary guarantee is returned, meaning you withdraw your claim. And Step 3, a swift message cancels the counter-guarantee to release the domestic funds. Only then is the injunction lifted. It's a closed-loop resolution engineered entirely to neutralize your pay-first advantage.
So what's the ultimate takeaway here? Simply put, the traditional absolute sovereign immunity shield no longer protects foreign owners from having their demand guarantees frozen. Under the new foreign state immunity law, relying purely on your sovereign status to guarantee liquidity in cross-border EPC disputes is an outdated and honestly highly risky strategy.
Which leaves us with this one vital question. Are your current infrastructure contracts and guarantee structures actually prepared for China's restrictive immunity era? It's definitely time to review those portfolios and figure out exactly where your financial vulnerabilities lie. Thanks so much for joining us today as we unpack these critical insights. Keep learning, stay focused, and we'll see you in the next explainer.